father was kicked out of the garden, he actually now lost that illumination that he once had. So again, strange and light, we want the light, we don't want to be strange, right?
That's right.
Okay, great, great. Because we have a very important festival that's coming up. We want everybody to look beautiful, to have on their white, and everybody to have that light, white light, illuminated, all right? Question. What is the strongest agreement on earth and in Shamayim? I heard Shia over here. She said something. What is the strongest agreement on earth and in Shamayim?
I guess the covenant between Yashra'al and Yahuwah, it makes me think about Moshe when he says, I call Shemaim and Aretz to bear witness against you this day.
Right, I do a lot of writing today. And the key word I want everybody to pay very close attention to is the word agreement. So, what is the strongest agreement? In Shamayim first, let's do it that way. In Shamayim, then on earth. The strongest agreement. You're absolutely correct. The strongest agreement or covenant or promise that a person can make is the ketubah. That is the strongest agreement that any man can make with a woman. That is the strongest agreement that the Father actually made with the nation of Yashra'al. And the word ketub means what? Right. Written. It means that it is recorded. And once it's recorded, it can be held against you.
That's right.
All right? It can be held against you. Not like the court system, the way that it's set up today with marriages. It's not ran by the same rules and regulations the way that the Father has his rules and regulations set up for us. You can do pretty much anything that you want to do in today's marriages in Western society. But that ketubah is the strongest agreement that the Father ever made with any people, and he made this covenant now with the nation of Yashra'al. Everything that we say and do under this ketubah, it is written, and it will bear witness for us or against us in the day of judgment. This is the reason why today's class is called Lazarus Come Forth, but I just want to walk us into it, and make sure that everybody understands that this is a covenant. I said a couple of weeks ago, if you're married, I would strongly suggest that you get a ketubah. The reason why I say get a ketubah, if it was good enough for the Father, it should be good enough for us.
That's right.
I mean, that's just the way that it works. Brother was asking me a couple of years ago about circumcision. Should we do it or should we do it? Shaul said this, Shaul said that. We'll talk about that at another time, but my argument is this. If the Mashiach was able to get it done on the 8th day, it's good enough for me. I mean, everybody should be, every male, in this way. Every male should be circumcised, all right? Every male. It's good enough for the Mashiach, and it's good enough for me. Now, to prove that this ketubah is the strongest agreement in Shamayim and in earth, let's go to the book of Exodus, the 24th chapter. That way, Sadavad, you're just making stuff up. The reverence that we should be sharing. The reverence that we should be sharing is is a covenant that the Father made with the nation of Yashra'al, and he did it with the ketubah. 24. The 24th chapter, read verse 4 through 7. And Moshe wrote all the words, and that word words. Anybody know what the word we have for words is? Debar, Devarim, Deuteronomy. Okay. And Moshe wrote all the words of Yahuwah, and rose up early in the morning, and built, this will be very important, he built an altar under the hill, and 13 pillars according to the 13 tribes of Yashra'al. That's what everybody had, right?
No.
Right, so again, this is so personal. No, it's not 13. It's 12.
Oh,
It's 12. That's right. So it's 12. So this is so personal is that this is a marriage that the Father is having with a particular people. All right, it's not personal. This is about the nation of Yashra'al from beginning to end. And as the Father now is trying to have this covenant agreement with us, and in order for it to be a witness, it's called a ketubah, but the ketubah now actually works on your behalf. A lot of people don't want a ketubah because they believe now that the ketubah is going to actually work against them. But the ketubah now is also your protection. It reminds the Father now that he's in covenant relationship with the people. So why not have a ketubah? It's your protection. It's the man's protection and it's the woman's protection. Okay, but read on. He built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. This is personal. With the 12, according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Yashra'al, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings, which is shalom, of oxen unto Yahuwah. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And the reason, anybody know why he's sprinkling the blood on the altar? It's a blood covenant, exactly. On the altar is where you make your sacrifices. And the altar also represents your heart. Peace offerings unto Yahuwah. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in the basin, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant. Anybody know what the word is for book?
Shabbat.
Right, Safar, exactly. Like I think some of us might have them, right? You have them, okay? So, and he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people, and they said, all that Yahuwah has said will we do, and be obedient. Hallelujah. And Moses took the book of the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahuwah hath made with you concerning all these words. You're going to drop down to verse 12. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, come up unto me into the mount and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law, and a commandment, which I have written. So what is the Hebrew word again for written? Ketub. Who wrote it?
Yahuwah.
Whose covenant is it?
Yahuwah.
It gets no simpler than that. This is your protection. Without a ketubah, how do we know that you're married?
No.
But we have people now putting more precedents now in the laws of the land. And I'm adamant about the ketubah, and it should be done according to Torah. According to Torah now. Verse 12 again. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, come up unto me into the mount and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law, which is Torah, and commandments, which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. The word teach is what? Huh?
Lamed.
You have what? I didn't hear you.
Lamed.
Lamed, yeah, means to teach. Lamad or lamed means to teach or to learn. Yirach is the word. You should have the word Yirach there. You have the word Yirach?
I was saying that, yes, I wasn't positive.
Yeah, you have the word Yirach, which means now to teach or to instruct. So the nation of Yashra'al now was supposed to now understand this covenant agreement that they were now under, and the husband now was actually Yahuwah. Any questions so far? Okay, hallelujah. Daniel's, the book of Daniel's, the 9th chapter. The book of Daniel's, the 9th chapter, Daniel's the 9th chapter, verse 9. Chapter 9, verses 11 to 13. Mr. Picard, it has to be in writing according to the way that the Father told us that it should be in writing. The ketubah is extremely, extremely important. I hold the ketubah more valid than any marriage license or any marriage certificate. The ketubah. Daniel, the 9th chapter, verses 11 to 13. Yes, all Israel have transgressed the law. We need some sisters' participation here. All right? All Israel transgressed the law. Now, it's an easy question. Did all Israel transgress the law? Yes. Okay. All Israel transgressed the law. Sister said Cain. Got your brothers. Did all Israel transgress the law? Okay, yes. Got Cain. I say no, which is no. All Israel did not transgress the law. And we're going to show that here in Scripture. Just for example, was Jeremiah wicked?
No.
What about Ezekiel?
No.
Well, we do have the righteous going into captivity along with the unjust.
Yes.
David, Enoch, these guys here. So we have to make sure we keep everything in context, and we're going to show it here as we read on down the line here. Yes, all Israel had transgressed, and we do understand that all Israel was born under sin because of the transgression that happened with Adam. We do understand that. But did all Israel sin? And was all Israel disobedient to the Father?
No.
Right, I mean, then there would be no nation of Israel. There would be no Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But we're going to show this here. Yes, all Israel have transgressed the law, even by departing, that they might not obey the voice. Therefore, that word voice, we already talked about the word voice already. Obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured out upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Elohim. So we have Moses being a servant of Elohim, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words, which he has spoke against us. That word words, what do we have there? Do we still have the word devar? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yes, hallelujah. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page here. What about in verse 11 when it says, therefore the curse is poured out upon us, and the oath that is written? The word written is ketubah. Verse 12. And he confirmed his words which he spoke against us, because, again, the ketubah can work for you or against you. So at this point here now, we see that the ketubah is working against us, because the Father said, I set before you life and death. Choose life. And he hath confirmed his words which he spoke against us and against our judges, and judged us by bringing us a great evil, for under the whole heaven have not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem. Verse 13. As it is written, the word again written is ketubah, because this is a marriage. This is a marriage from Genesis all the way to Revelation. And we must follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. There's no other way around it. This is going to be very important. Lazarus, come forth. Okay, as it is written in the book of the law of Moses, all this evil has come upon us, yet made we not our prayers or prayer before Jehovah our Elohim, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand whose truth.
Who is true?
Jehovah's truth. Hallelujah. Now, let's go into the meat, because from here on out, we're going to flow like water here, like Mayim. Because we already went through the preliminaries, and we're going to answer these questions like it's nothing. The book of John, the 11th chapter. John, the 11th chapter. Verse 1. Verse 1. Now a certain man was sick. That word sick is going to be very important. This man's name was Lazarus, which is going to be very important. And he was from Bethany, is going to be very important. The town of Mary and her sister Martha. Almost every word in John, the 11th chapter, is going to be very important. First question, what does the word Lazarus mean? We're going to go to the Strong's 2976. If somebody could read that for me. The Strong's number in the Greek, 2976, because we're trying to find out now what does the word Lazarus means. He whom Elohim helps. All right.
Basically, Eliezer.
You're going to get there. You're going to get there. So again, it means he whom Elohim helps. We're going to try to look at some prophetic shadow pictures here. We're going to try to put everything together so we're all in one accord. Now, First Chronicles 6 and 3. Because it said in biblical Hebrew, that word Eliezer means power and it means strength. But I want to look at that a little bit. The book of First Chronicles, the 6th chapter, verse 4. 3 and 4, excuse me, 3 and 4. And the children of Amram, and Aaron, and Moses, and Miriam, the sons of Aaron, Nadab and Nabihu, Eleazar and Ithmar. Eleazar begat Phinehas, Phinehas begat Abisu. The word Eleazar there now is the Strong's number 00499. Eleazar. The word Eleazar means, anybody know?
Elohim helps.
Right. Yahuwah has helped. All right? Has helped. Now, yes.
So when I click on the Strong's 0499, it has two other Strong's numbers
Right.
there. So is that definition coming from those two strong numbers?
Right, because a lot of times what they do, they go into the root words, where the words actually came from, so it just helps kind of like simplify the word there. So read on, so you can read on with that. There's just more to that. 0499. Let's start from the beginning. Oh, whoever was reading.
Oh, read off the other.
Yeah.
The high priest,
Now this read from the beginning again.
Elohim has help.
Uh-huh.
Then the next one is the high priest, son of Aaron.
Uh-huh.
Then Abinadab's son cared for the ark. Abinadab's son cared for the ark.
Uh-huh.
The priest who rebuilt and
You don't have this the same as Eleazar?
I think he's looking at the Hebrew instead of the Greek from
Oh, okay.
Go back to 3.
Okay, no problem. We'll get back there. I just want to, we just see on the same page here. So again, this word, he whom Elohim helps, and we're talking about Lazarus. Watch how the Hebraic parallel works together. All right? The Father now is helping Lazarus. But how is this now a prophetic shadow picture of Yashra'al? Let's go down to the book of Yashra'al, the 41st chapter. The 41st chapter. The 41st chapter. And we're going to read the 41st chapter. I'm going to read verse 8. It says, "But thou, Yashra'al, art my servant, Yaakov, whom I have chosen," which is going to be very important. In a marriage relationship, when a man is interested in a woman, the woman is interested in a man, who is the actual pursuer?
Man.
The man, all right? The man is the pursuer. But thou, O Israel, art my servant, Yaakov, whom I, which is the groom, groom, have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Verse 9. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, I have taken, the Father have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant. I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. I'm going to skip down to verse 14. Fear not thou, worm Jacob, and you men of Israel, I will help you, saith Yahuwah, and thy Redeemer, the set apart one of Yashra'al. That word, I will help, is the Strong's number 05826. Is that what you have? So that word there means Yahuwah will help. So we have the word Lazarus again. You see how this is working so far? How the Father is going to help Lazarus, but we can see now through prophetic shadow pictures that he's also dealing with the nation of Yashra'al, and the word Lazarus and the word Ezer is still being used. So it's meaning that the Father is going to actually help, provide, keep in safety a people, and his people is the nation of Yashra'al, which is his bride. Again, that's the Strong's number 05826. We're going to go now to the book of Isaiah 44. Isaiah 44, 1 through 2.
So I'm guessing in the Aramaic, it's the Hazard, and then there's a Lamad in front of it.
Right, a Lamad, the Lamed here. The Dalet, the Lamed, the Mem, and the Dalet. So it means, again, to teach, instruct, exactly, to learn. Absolutely. But what we're trying to share here now is that as the Father again is helping Lazarus, and the word is actually, it's an Ezer. And we just want to make sure that we can draw the parallels between what the Father is doing with the nation of Yashra'al and also with Lazarus, which is later on down the line. Isaiah 44, 1 through 2. 1 through 2. 44. Yet now hear, O Jacob,